Overlap. Description. A signal can be taken off only when the portion of track is clear not only up to the next stop signal but also an adequate distance beyond the next stop signal. This adequate distance is called overlap. It is the safety margin by providing extra distance to prevent possible accidents in the event of overshooting of signal at on, that is, destination signal. Overlap length is based on experience and may be reduced under approved special instructions. Overlap of a signal to be available after next signal in advance. The length of track in advance of a stop signal that should be kept clear before the rear signal can be taken off is known as the signal overlap. General rules. Block overlap is the extra length of track in advance of the first stop signal of the next block station, which should be kept clear before line clear can be granted to the station in rear. General rules provided are: the minimum signal overlap in two-aspect lower quadrant signaling is 180 meters and in multiple aspect it is 120 meters. The minimum block overlap in two-aspect lower quadrant signaling is 400 meters and in multiple aspect it is 180 meters. Description. Sighting distance. One of the factors affecting the section capacity and safety of trains is sighting or visibility of the signal. Inadequate sighting or visibility of a signal affects confidence level of loco pilot and he runs train slowly. Sighting distance is the distance over which the most restrictive aspect of a signal is visible from the driving compartment of an approaching train under normal conditions of visibility. Minimum sighting distance is equal to emergency braking distance plus reaction distance. In the process of obeying the signal, first the loco pilot should sight a signal. Observe the aspect of the signal, then react to the aspect of the signal. Regulate the speed accordingly. During the process of reacting to the aspect of the signal, train may travel certain distance. Such distance is called reaction distance. Two-aspect signaling. Sighting distance is very important in two-aspect signaling as signals are not pre-warned. Outer signal, if not pre-warned, shall have sighting distance greater than or equal to emergency braking distance plus reaction distance. Outer signal, if pre-warned, then warner is provided on independent post in rear of outer signal. Hence, sighting distance is not important. Warner signal. If independent, then sighting distance shall be 400 meters. In case of warner below outer, though not pre-warned, but the goods warning board and passenger warning board are provided in rear of first stop signal at sighting distance to warn the loco pilot that there is a stop signal ahead. Home signals. Wherever feasible, home signals shall be visible from outer signal. Main line starters. Wherever feasible, starter shall be visible from home signals. Advanced starter. Wherever feasible, advanced starter shall be visible from the starter signals. Multiple aspect signaling. In multiple aspect, all signals are pre-warned by aspects of signals in rear.
When distance signal displays caution aspect, yellow color light, it indicates the loco pilot that home signal is at on and to stop at home signal. When distance signal displays attention aspect 2 yellow color lights, it indicates the loco pilot that home signal displays caution with route. Hence, train is going to be received on any one loop line. When distance signal displays proceed aspect green color light, it indicates the loco pilot that home signal is at caution, hence train is going to be received on main line and starter may be at on. When distance signal displays proceed aspect green color light, if the home signal is at proceed aspect, indicates the loco pilot main line starter at proceed and advance starter at proceed, and train is on run through via main line.
Distance signal. It is a permissive signal and its sighting distance shall be 400 meters. Stop signals. The aspect of each stop signal is pre-warned by the signal in rear. Hence, sighting distance is equal to emergency braking distance if braking distance is available between two consecutive signals. If this emergency braking distance is not available, then signal in rear shall be 4-aspect signal. Advanced starter. As a general practice, the advanced starter shall be visible from the stop signal in rear. Automatic block signal. The sighting distance is to be made available between two successive stop signals. If such distance is not available, then 4-aspect signaling shall be used. Signal Engineering Manual stipulates that the minimum visibility of 2-aspect and multiple aspect signaling. Visibility, the distance at which aspect of signal is distinctly seen and identified by loco pilot under normal conditions. Visibility. Visibility of 2-aspect signals. Outer signal 1200 meters in sections where the sectional speed is 100 km per hour or above, 800 meters where sectional speed is less than 100 km per hour. Where minimum visibility as above cannot be achieved, Warner may be separated. With the Warner separated, the minimum visibility of outer shall not be less than 400 meters. 2-aspect signaling table. The minimum visibility of a Warner signal on a post by itself is 400 meters. The minimum visibility of outer if sectional speed is greater than 100 km per hour is 1200 meters. If sectional speed is less than 100 km per hour, it is 800 meters. The minimum visibility of a home signal is 400 meters. The minimum visibility of a main starter signal is 400 meters. The minimum visibility of all other signals is 200 meters. Other signals. Where adequate visibility of stop signals cannot be achieved, then repeating or co-acting signals shall be provided to ensure combined visibility. In case the combined visibility is less than the distances prescribed above, suitable speed restrictions shall be imposed. Visibility of multiple aspect signals. Multiple aspect signaling table. Visibility of multiple aspect signals. As number of aspects of signals increase, the visibility distances or adequate distances decrease and sectional speed of the trains can be increased. If it is not possible to ensure 200 meters continuous visibility of any stop signal while approaching it, a suitable speed restriction shall be imposed. Signal Engineering Manual. The visibility of the signals is periodically checked from loco pilot's cabin by a group of supervisors from signal, operating and mechanical or electrical departments and is called footplate inspection. If visibility is found inadequate, corrective action is to be taken to obtain prescribed distance of visibility. No new signal shall be brought into use until it has been inspected by a signaling committee consisting of traffic inspector, loco inspector and signal inspector. Sighting should be done from footplate of engine, then signal should be visible from adequate distance both by day and night. Inspection of Sighting Committee. Sighting Committee checks visibility of proposed signal, implantation of signal, infringement of standard dimensions, and certify it in a proforma called Signal Sighting Committee Report. For any discrepancy, condonation of Chief Signal and Telecommunication Engineer and Chief Operation Manager, that is, for signal on right hand side, and Commissioner of Railway Safety for any deviation, is required to be obtained. Definition. The term isolation denotes the situation at which a line on which the movement is being carried out is separated from all adjoining connected lines. It is achieved in such a manner that the movements on the separated line are not endangered by any movement on the adjoining lines. Isolation means an arrangement secured by the setting of points or other approved means to protect the line so isolated from the danger of obstruction from other connected line or lines. Isolation is provided to protect a train or any other vehicle moving on the line from another train or trains on adjacent lines if they start moving towards it, to prevent probable accidents in the event of possible unintentional or uncontrolled rolling of train on adjacent line towards train concerned. Basis for provision of isolation are: speed of train on a particular line to be isolated, the type of line on which train is moving, that is, passenger or goods line, the general rules, signal engineering manual, and rules for opening of railway or section of railway for public carriage of passengers stipulates the rules for the provision of isolation where isolation is required. Rules of isolation where isolation is applicable, signal engineering manual. A line on which train moves at speed higher than 50 km per hour should be isolated from all connected lines. Irrespective of speed, passenger lines should be isolated from all connected goods lines and sidings. The isolation of goods reception lines from sidings is considered desirable. If speed is less than 50 km per hour, then it is not necessary to isolate one goods line from another or one passenger line from another. To maintain safety in through running lines, trap and sidings should not be inserted in the main or through lines. The exceptions to this rule, which may be adopted with the special sanction of Commissioner Railway Safety, are where other means cannot be adopted to permit simultaneous reception of trains on single line sections, to trap vehicles running away from a block station to block section, to avoid trains entering from block section into station section due to steep falling gradient, to avoid a train being brought to a stand at a stop signal on a rising gradient from the possibility of the train being unable to restart. The isolation of passenger line to passenger line is not required if speed is less than 50 km per hour, but required if speed is greater than or equal to 50 km per hour. The isolation of passenger line to goods line or siding is required, irrespective of speed. The isolation of goods line to passenger line is required irrespective of speed. The isolation of goods line to goods line is not required if speed is less than 50 km per hour, but required if speed is greater than or equal to 50 km per hour. However, isolation of goods line to siding is desirable. The isolation of siding to passenger line is required irrespective of speed. The isolation of siding to goods line is desirable, and isolation of siding to siding is not mandatory. Provision of isolation does not apply to, as per in the following cases: Signal Engineering Manual. Running junctions where two block section lines meet at the same end of a station equipped with full complement of signals. First stop signal at such junction station shall be placed at adequate distance from the outermost facing point or fouling mark and shall not be less than combination of signal overlap and block overlap on single line section, block overlap on double line section. Stations where track circuits or other appliances have been provided to prove whether the connected non-isolated lines are cleared or occupied. For run-through trains, the signal shall be so designed that when the adjoining connected line is occupied, first stop signal will not assume proceed aspect, hence speed restricted to 50 km/h. If adjoining line is clear, first stop signal will assume proceed aspect. Catch sidings, slip sidings and sidings are provided for isolation purpose only. For further details, refer Chapter 8, Part 3 of Rules for the opening of a railway or section of a railway at the public carriage of passengers. Means of isolation. Various arrangements of points and crossings used to achieve isolation are called means of isolation. Means of isolation are connection to another line or siding by setting the point. The provision of short dead end sidings. The provision of traps, that is single or double derailing switches. Long dead end siding with trap, that is vehicles can be stabled on this siding. Provision of sand humps. Permissible gradients in station yard should extend up to 50 meters beyond outermost points or block section limit board at either ends of the station. The permissible gradient without any special safety devices and no special rules enforced. For existing works, 1 in 400. For new works, 1 in 1200. The permissible gradient in station yard is steeper than 1 in 400 up to 1 in 200, and 60 may be adopted under approval of Commissioner of Railway Safety. If gradient in station yard is steeper than 1 in 260, the Railway Board condonation is to be obtained through Commissioner of Railway Safety and Chief Commissioner of Railway Safety, and application for the same shall be made by Chief Engineer open line. If steeper gradients are available in close proximity of station yard, then special type of sidings are provided. Slip siding, where the gradient steeper than 1 in 100 and falling away from the station, prevents unauthorized entry of vehicles into the next block section, protects block section. Catch siding, where the gradient steeper than 1 in 80 and falling towards the station, prevents unauthorized entry of vehicles into station and to trap uncontrolled vehicles coming from the block section, protects station section. Slip siding and catch siding points must be interlocked with the block instruments. Point of such sidings. Normally should set for siding. Should not be used for shunting or stapling purposes. Description. At evolution stages of railways, there were no direct interconnection between points and signals. Such interconnection, that is interlocking, was in primitive stage. As train speed increased over a period of time, seriousness of consequences, that is, if a loco pilot ignores a signal at danger, also increases. Hence, certain restrictions are imposed on reception of trains, such as simultaneous reception. When more than one train approaches a station at same time from opposite directions or from same directions, then taking off more than one reception signals for these trains at the same time is called simultaneous reception of trains. Simultaneous reception is not allowed unless special provisions are made, such as if non-conflicting route, isolation and separate overlap for each train movement is available and ensured. simultaneous reception. Requirement of simultaneous reception. To receive and dispatch trains simultaneously, sand humps or other means of isolation are used. Simultaneous reception. On single line yard, if sand hump is provided on both ends of reception line, then trains can be received on both lines in either direction, but this is not possible if sand hump is provided on only one end of reception line. Simultaneous reception of the train is possible on single line or double line station if the train movements are isolated and have separate overlaps. Simultaneous reception and dispatch. Simultaneous reception and dispatch. Taking off reception signal and dispatch signal for different trains at the same time is called simultaneous reception and dispatch of trains. For simultaneous reception and dispatch of trains, isolation and separate overlap for each movement is ensured. Systems of train working. Systems of working. It stipulates the rules to run the trains between two block stations. There are 6 systems of train working as follows: absolute block system, automatic block system, following trains system, pilot guard system, train staff and ticket system, one train only system. Out of these, absolute block system and automatic block system are predominantly used over Indian Railways, and these are space interval method. Remaining systems of working are used in special circumstances or where train traffic is very less, under the permission of the Railway Board or special instructions. Absolute block system. Majority of the stations on Indian Railways follow absolute block system. In this system, only one train can be run between two block stations at a time. Essential requirements of absolute block system. General rules. These are the minimum rules that must be followed for running a train under this system. All block instruments and circuits are designed to implement these rules. Conditions for granting line clear at Class A, B and C stations. Under absolute block system, before granting line clear, it is to be ensured that the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of line granting station, but also an adequate distance beyond it. The block overlap changes as per class of station and the type of signaling. The condition for granting line clear is detailed in forthcoming module. No train shall be allowed to leave a block station unless line clear has been received from the block station in advance, and the line clear granting station shall not grant line clear unless on double line section the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of station in advance but also for an adequate distance beyond it, known as block overlap. On single line section, unless the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of station in advance but also for an adequate distance beyond it, known as block overlap, and is clear of trains running in the direction towards the block station to which such line clear is given, and unless otherwise directed by approved special instructions, the adequate distance, that is block overlap, shall not be less than 400 meters in case of two-aspect lower quadrant signaling or two-aspect color light signaling, 180 meters in case of multiple aspect signaling or modified lower quadrant signaling. The last preceding train has arrived completely, which is also known as last vehicle check. All the reception signals behind the train are put back to on. Working of trains in absolute block system. After arrival of the train receiving station must ensure the following steps before normalizing the block. Complete arrival of the train is checked by physical verification with last vehicle board or tail lamp. Complete arrival of the train is checked by provision of last vehicle check device, continuous track circuits, axle counters, etc. Majority of the stations on Indian Railways follow absolute block system. In this system, only one train can be run between two block stations at a time. Essential requirements of absolute block system. General rules. These are the minimum rules that must be followed for running a train under this system. All block instruments and circuits are designed to implement these rules. Conditions for granting line clear at Class A, B and C stations. Under absolute block system, before granting line clear, it is to be ensured that the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of line granting station, but also an adequate distance beyond it. The block overlap changes as per class of station and the type of signaling. The condition for granting line clear is detailed in forthcoming module. No train shall be allowed to leave a block station unless line clear has been received from the block station in advance, and the line clear granting station shall not grant line clear unless on double line section the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of station in advance but also for an adequate distance beyond it, known as block overlap. On single line section, unless the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal of station in advance but also for an adequate distance beyond it, known as block overlap, and is clear of trains running in the direction towards the block station to which such line clear is given, and unless otherwise directed by approved special instructions, the adequate distance, that is block overlap, shall not be less than 400 meters in case of 2-aspect lower quadrant signaling or 2-aspect color light signaling, 180 meters in case of multiple aspect signaling or modified lower quadrant signaling. The last preceding train has arrived completely, which is also known as last vehicle check. All the reception signals behind the train are put back to on. Working of trains in absolute block system. After arrival of the train receiving station must ensure the following steps before normalizing the block. Complete arrival of the train is checked by physical verification with last vehicle board or tail lamp. Complete arrival of the train is checked by provision of last vehicle check device, continuous track circuits, axle counters, etc. To deal high-density rail traffic such as suburban trains in metro cities and high-dense corridors like Delhi, Mathura, etc. The entry of the train into block section is controlled by an automatic multiple aspect color light stop signal. It is provided with a marker to differentiate from manually operated stop signal. Aspect of the signal is controlled by the track circuits or axle counters or audio frequency track circuits and not by human beings. Normal aspect of automatic stop signal is proceed. Hence, in this system, the signal aspect for a rear train is controlled by movement of train in advance. Loco pilot can pass an automatic signal at on by stopping for a prescribed time and slow speed as prescribed in rules. Even if Locopilot observes an automatic signal at on but next signal in advance shows proceed, that is due to usage of color light or LED signals, a Locopilot may see more than one signal. He is not to assume that everything is okay for him to continue his journey, as the aspect of next signal in advance may be for a train in advance. When a stop signal works both as automatic as well as manually operated signal, it is called semi-automatic signal. It is provided with illuminated A marker. An illuminated A marker and G or illuminated A and AG marker are fixed below automatic signal that protecting a level crossing gate and point. The essentials of automatic block system on double line. These are the minimum rules that must be followed for running a train under this system. All signaling circuits are designed to implement these rules. The line between two stations may, where required, be divided into a series of sections known as automatic block signaling section. The line shall be provided with continuous track circuits or axle counters. Entry into each automatic block signaling section is protected by a color light multiple aspect stop signal. The signal is automatically replaced to on soon after it is passed by the train. Track circuits or axle counters control the aspects of the rear signal such that it shall not display the off aspect unless the line is clear not only up to the stop signal in advance but also for an adequate distance beyond it. Note, unless otherwise directed by approved special instructions, the adequate distance referred above shall not be less than 120 meters. Rules to pass an automatic stop signal at on. When an automatic signal is at on, then Locopilot has to obey following rules. Stops the train in rear of the signal. Ensure an A or illuminated A marker. Wait there for 1 minute by day and 2 minutes by night. He shall give a prescribed code of whistle and exchange signals with guard. Proceed slowly by not exceeding 10 km per hour and exercising great caution so as to stop short of any obstruction up to next automatic stop signal and follow the aspect of signal. Rules to pass an automatic stop signal at on interlocked with level crossing gate. When an automatic signal protecting a gate is at on, then Locopilot has to obey following rules. Stops the train in rear of the signal. Ensure AG and an illuminated A marker. Signal Engineering Manual. If an illuminated A marker is in lit condition, then treat the signal as automatic signal and follow procedure to pass an automatic signal at on. If an illuminated A marker is in extinguished condition, then wait there for 1 minute by day and 2 minutes by night. Proceed slowly up to level crossing gates and ascertain that the gates are locked against road traffic. Exchange hand signal with the gateman. He shall give a prescribed code of whistle and exchange signals with guard. Proceed slowly, exercising great caution so as to stop short of any obstruction. Rules to pass an automatic stop signal that is interlocked with level crossing gate and point at on. When an automatic signal protecting a gate is at on, then the loco pilot has to obey following rules. Stops the train in rear of the signal. Ensure AG and an illuminated A marker. If an illuminated A marker is in lit condition, then treat the signal as automatic signal and follow procedure to pass an automatic signal at on. If an illuminated AG marker is in lit condition, indicating the gate is not in closed condition or defective, then loco pilot will follow the rules for passing a defective gate signal at on as signal with illuminated A marker and G marker. If an illuminated A and AG markers are in extinguished condition, then loco pilot will treat the signal as a manual stop signal. On single line. Purpose of this system is to increase the section capacity, reduce the headway between two consecutive trains moving in the same direction. It is adopted where the trains follow one another in quick succession during certain time period of the day in one direction. In this system, the direction of traffic changes as per the requirement of traffic. The direction of traffic is established with the help of control panel at leaving and receiving station before dispatching a train. Essentials of automatic block system on single line. Trains on the automatic block system on single line shall work as the line between two adjacent block stations may be divided into two or more automatic block signaling sections by provision of stop signals. The line shall be provided with continuous track circuits or axle counters. It shall not be possible to obtain line clear unless the line is clear not only up to the first stop signal but also for an adequate distance beyond the advanced block station. The direction of traffic shall be established only after line clear has been obtained from block station in advance. A train shall start from one block station to another only after the direction of traffic has been established. Station A has obtained line clear from station B and wants to dispatch a down train, but the direction of traffic is established for up direction. To establish the direction of traffic in down direction, Station master of station B will press Permission to button on control side of control panel, and at station A, Permission from indication will glow in green color on controlling side. Station master of station A will turn direction switch from up to down and establish direction of traffic in down direction. Now the up direction arrow at both stations will extinguish and down direction arrow will lit to white. After the direction of traffic has been established, movement of trains into each automatic block section shall be controlled by the concerned automatic stop signal. Each automatic stop signal shall not assume off position unless the line is clear up to next automatic stop signal, provided further that where the next stop signal is a manual stop signal, the line is clear for an adequate distance beyond it, and all stop signals against the direction of traffic shall be at on. Unless otherwise directed by approved special instructions, the adequate distance referred above shall not be less than 180 meters. Rules for passing the automatic stop signal at on, that is on signal line. Stops the train at rear of stop signal. Wait for 1 minute by day and 2 minutes by night. Loco-pilot contacts the station master of adjoining station or section controller on the telephone provided near the signal. Loco-pilot proceeds cautiously after authorized to pass signal at on. If no telephone provided or telephone failed, Loco-pilot proceeds cautiously after exchange of whistle code with guard till next stop signal in advance. Be prepared to stop short of any obstruction. Classification of stations. Description. Station means any place on a line of railway at which traffic is dealt with or at which an authority to proceed is given to the loco-pilot of the train under the system of working. For the purpose of general rules, station divided into two categories. Block stations, Class A, Class B, Class C. Non-block stations, Class D, that is passenger halt. Block stations are those at which the loco-pilot must obtain an authority to proceed under the system of working to enter the block section with his train. Non-block stations. These have neither signals nor block instruments. These are outlets opened purely for commercial purpose. Classification of block station is done on the basis of how line clear is granted.